Hello everybody, it's me, Jeremy Senpai. I know it's been a while since I've logged back on. A few things happened here and there, but I'm back and I'm ready to start making weekly content once again, or at the very least, close enough to it. For today's video, we're going to tackle into something that can be comedic, that can be dark, but still very, very relevant. What was it about early 2000s shows and 90s shows that tackled the theme of addiction? You know, becoming addicted to something specific, but of course you can't say substance abuse in cartoons, so they used allegories, or in this case, food and or sweets. But instead of giving you just one show and episode, no, I'm giving you 4 examples that follow this theme. And we're actually going to rank this a little bit. It's going to be a little bit different, a little bit the same. For example, we're going to start with the most comedic episode and work our way up to the most serious episode. So, let's have a look, everybody, at addictions in cartoons. Just one bite. In this episode, we discover that Squidward has never had a Krabby Patty. After Spongebob literally forces Squidward to try one, he finds that he surprisingly likes them. However, he doesn't let this show to Spongebob, instead going over the top on how he doesn't like Krabby Patties, trying to hide how he really does like them. Even going so far as to eat the dirt-covered remains of the patty he just buried. It's then that Squidward says that he needs just one more and he would be off of them for good. Throughout the episode, Squidward tries to go to extreme lengths to get a Krabby Patty without revealing it to Spongebob, ordering a patty for himself and even trying to eat one out of the garbage, only to fail both times. Later that night, he actually dreams of marrying a Krabby Patty and growing old together. Finally, having enough, he sneaks into the Krusty Krab and breaks into the Patty Vault. However, before he can treat himself, SpongeBob finds him and quickly figures it all out. Finally, Squidward admits that he loves Krabby Patties and begins eating them by the dozens, until they literally go to his thighs, and then he blows up. It's then that Squidward has never shown to eat another Krabby Patty, meaning he becomes addicted and kicks it all in the same day and or episode. This was by far the more comedic, which is why it's the opener, but the rest get a little more serious from here on out. I just figured that I would start this video off on the entry that was the least serious and mature, and this was definitely the one. While it definitely shows Squidward's addiction to Krabby Patties, it also does so in a very comedic tone, so you can see it as comedic and you can see it as an allegory for addictions, kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone, so to speak. Anyway, moving on to the next one. No more cookies. Something synonymous with Angelica Pickles is her love of cookies. While she's shown to very much love any kind of sweet, everyone knows that cookies are her favorite foods, and she is shown to eat them whenever she gets the chance. The episode literally opened up with Angelica finishing off an entire box of cookies within minutes, and even acts as if she's done this before. However, because of this, she gets a horrible stomachache, putting her in terrible pain. Because of this, she makes Tommy and his friends promise to make sure she never eats any cookies ever again. The next day, Angelica acts like this never happened and wants cookies. However, Tommy is adamant to keep his promise. Throughout the episode, we see Angelica go through withdrawal symptoms, trying to bargain or reason with Tommy, even tried to trick them while she went to go and look for the hidden cookies. When all of this fails, Angelica tells us the full story of why cookies are so important to her. Literally, since the day she was born, she was introduced to cookies, and once she tried them, she was completely hooked. Her first steps were to get the cookies, and even her first words were cookies, showing that throughout her life, cookies have always been a consistent factor. enjoying all kinds of cookies throughout her life, showing that not only do they serve as a treat, but they also possibly serve as a means of comfort. Angelica reaches her lowest point when the cookies are covered in soapy water and she still eats them, thus resulting in her becoming sick again and making Tommy keep his promise to her again. In this episode, we see the effects of a cycle. Somebody realizing that they have a problem, wanting to make the efforts, but instead choose to entrust it to someone else for support, feeling that they are not strong enough to make the change on their own, but then starting to relapse only to reach an even lower point in desperation for a fix, and then needing to affirm their efforts, thus causing the cycle to repeat. Very much a real depiction on how addicts make efforts but ultimately fall into the same cycle yet again. Candy is dandy. In this episode, we see the extreme measures that addicts go through in order to get their fix. In the Candy is Dandy episode of the Powerpuff Girls original, we see Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup. They've saved the day once again, and because of it, the mayor decided to give them a reward. At first, the girls declined until he reveals that the reward is candy. After just one taste from the mayor's candy, the girls want more, but the mayor tells them that he would reward them once they save the day again. Because of this, the girls are on edge, wanting more. They start to see the candy wherever they go. They want to fight crime so they can be rewarded, but no crime comes. It results in the girls eventually striking a deal with Mojo Jojo. They break him out of jail, and he gets to wreak havoc on the city. For a time, this works. Mojo gets to do his thing, and the girls get rewarded. However, one day after putting Mojo away, the mayor reveals that Mojo stole the candy from him. This results in the girls lashing out at the mayor for allowing it to happen, since they've been denied their prize. They confront Mojo in prison, where he reveals that he stole the candy just to get at them. The girls then beat him to a pulp in the most graphic and brutal way ever seen. Even as an adult, this is hard to watch and a little unsettling. The girls then realize that they became obsessed with the candy and that it caused them to do these horrible things. In the end, the girls admit their fault to the mayor after going out on a comedic note, where I think the girls had such a fix that they are sick of this stuff now. In this episode, it shows the lengths that addicts go through to get their fixes. The girls got a taste, they became obsessed with their next fix, and created a ploy where they would be given more. Then, when denied, they lashed out. No different than how true addicts act when faced with in order to satisfy their cravings, becoming obsessed, becoming violent when denied it, but ultimately realizing that they were in the wrong. This was definitely very mature and very dark. Probably only, I would dare say this may even be a little bit darker than my number one entry, but no, the number one entry is darker because it's the most real. So, let's get to the last one, everybody. Chocolate Boy. And now for the most mature episode of this video, the Hey Arnold episode, Chocolate Boy. One character whose name speaks for himself is Chocolate Boy, who, with every appearance prior to this, shows him enjoying chocolate in massive quantities. This is often seen as a reoccurring theme, and isn't really given much attention, that is, until this episode. The episode begins with Chocolate Boy licking wrappers for any excess chocolate. Then, Wolfgang, the 5th grader bully, comes along and makes Chocolate Boy demean himself for more chocolate. Then, thanks to his lackey Edmund, Wolfgang strikes a deal with Chocolate Boy, promising him a 10-pound bag of chocolate in exchange for him going 2 weeks without any chocolate. At first, Chocolate Boy is shown to be concerned about such a challenge, but agrees. Then Wolfgang has one of his lackeys follow Chocolate Boy around to make sure he doesn't go back on the deal. Knowing that he can't do this on his own, Chocolate Boy turns to Arnold for help. Arnold helps Chocolate Boy by getting rid of the stashes in his bedroom. Then we see how being off chocolate affects him, showing to be very tired, no doubt due to the sugar crash. Then we see the days of the bed where Chocolate Boy starts rambling and was even shown to be licking ants off the ground, thinking they would taste like chocolate. All of this can be seen as an allegory for detoxing from a substance. In the end, Chocolate Boy completed the bet and received a 10-pound bag from Wolfgang. Also, Arnold didn't know about the bet and thought Chocolate Boy wanted to quit, being very disappointed. Later that same day, Chocolate Boy finished off the 10-pound bag, but he still wanted more. Then comes Wolfgang and his friends, where they make Chocolate Boy dance for malted milk balls, resulting in him starting to truly feel demeaned for the first time in his life due to his obsession with chocolate. Later we see Chocolate Boy in a dumpster, most likely looking for more chocolate. Then he gets a look at himself in a broken mirror. He sees himself in this miserable state and can hear Wolfgang and his friends laughing at him. This is his lowest point, where he knows he doesn't want to be like this anymore. No different than an addict realizing how toxic their addictions truly are and wanting to make sure that they make a change for the better. Chocolate Boy turns to Arnold again, this time meaning it. Arnold is reluctant, but does decide to help him, starting with shock therapy, showing Chocolate Boy the ugly side of his addiction, with the slideshow ending in prison. Then Arnold tries to purify chocolate out of his system using a sauna, again, not like detoxing. Arnold then tries a substitute using radishes, similar to how someone might weed off cigarettes in exchange for something arguably better for them. Finally, Arnold gets to the root of the problem, psychologically, revealing that Chocolate Boy's nanny was the one who gave him chocolate when he was younger, before she had to leave him. Turning to chocolate for comfort, Chocolate Boy became what he is today. Arnold reminds Chocolate Boy that his nanny wouldn't want to see him this way because he's not being good and he's not happy. Chocolate Boy then is completely done with chocolate, much to the shock of Arnold's friends at school later. Wolfgang doesn't believe this and tries to offer chocolate on Chocolate Boy, but he refuses. And as far as we know, Chocolate Boy is done with chocolate. But now he's replaced his dependence of chocolate with radishes, so I guess he's Radish Boy now. Hey, at least it's something healthier, right? This was definitely the most mature way to portray an addict in kids' media. We see somebody who is known to be obsessed on a certain food or substance. They reach their lowest point when they realize that they don't want to feel this way anymore, and then they make the real-life efforts to try and better themselves. This is probably one of the most mature ways to depict addiction, and I would go so far as say that this probably would weed off any kid from becoming addicted if done right. The Chocolate Boy episode is definitely addiction done right. So, closing thoughts regarding this video. Addiction of any kind does exist, and the most well-known, of course, includes substance abuse addictions such as drugs, alcohol, nicotine, etc., but food addiction is also very, very relevant. Psychologically speaking, people need to feel comfort. They need to feel that they have some control of their life, which is why they take to becoming addicted. I definitely remember a lot of this from my psychology courses in school, and are still taking. where people need comfort to deal with the stresses and or traumas that they deal with. And there is nothing wrong with needing comfort, with needing that extra strength to get through the day. I have my own particular comfort food, boneless buffalo wings. I prefer boneless because I don't like getting the sauce on my hands because, well, the sauce got in my eye once when I rubbed it, and that was not a good day. No. The point is, I have loved buffalo chicken ever since I was probably 6 or 7 when my older sister introduced it to me. But the thing is that I treat myself once a month to it. It's both a treat and a comfort food. And the thing about comfort food is, if you eat the comfort food too much, if it's almost daily or even every other day, then doesn't it stop being the comfort food? It just becomes, well, the food that you eat. And that's basically what happened with characters like Chocolate Boy and Angelica. They ate their respective comfort foods so much that it stopped being a comfort food. It just became, well, the food that they ate. No different than how you have eggs and coffee in the morning. But even though this was introduced in children's media, addiction is still very much a relevant thing and still very much a horrible issue that most people still struggle with. But you do have the option if you want to take it. You can get yourself out of the hole that addiction has dug you into. Sometimes the first step is to really admit to it. And I'll even take the first step for you. In the description below are help websites for anyone who may be struggling or know someone who's struggling. Go ahead, reach out. See if you can try to take the first step. I've shown you the way, the rest is up to you. Addiction doesn't have to bury you. It doesn't have to be the deciding factor for the rest of your life. There are plenty of people who've gone from disaster to success because they rose above their demons, and I'd like to think anyone can do the same. This is Jeremy Senpai, signing off everybody. Until next time.